joined by interim UFC lightweight champion Justin Gaethje, followed by UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov, and finally UFC lightweight Michael Chandler. Each athlete will be available for roughly 30 minutes, so we please ask that you be considerate with your time so that we can get through as many questions as possible. UFC 254 will take place Saturday, October 24th on Abu Dhabi's Yas Island and will stream live on pay-per-view exclusively through ESPN Plus in the US at a special broadcast time of 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. local. The prelims will be simulcast on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus beginning at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, with the early prelims kicking off at 10:15 a.m. Eastern, 7:15 a.m. Pacific. As a reminder, today's virtual media day is being recorded. Please remember to click the attendee icon at the bottom of your screen to reveal the hand icon in the bottom right corner. Click the hand icon if you wish to ask questions, and you will be added to our queue, where we will unmute and announce you when it is your turn. Click the hand icon again when you are finished or to be removed from the queue. Please make sure that your microphone and audio is
Hello?
Justin, we have you.
Perfect. I'm gonna close this door real quick.
We now welcome interim UFC lightweight champion Justin Gaethje. Justin, thank you for the time today, sir.
Absolutely.
We will take the first questions from Mark Raimondi with ESPN.
Can't hear him.
Sorry, 1 second, Justin. We'll get him unmuted.
Did we break it?
Just a little broken. 1 second, Justin. We appreciate your patience.
Cool.
Who are we muting?
Hello?
We'll take the first question from Mark Raimondi with ESPN.
How are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, sir. I'm doing
Amazing. Amazing. Good to see you, man. Thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely.
You haven't been to a decision in 6 years, since 2014. Why is that so important to you to not leave it in the hands of the judges?
I mean, we've seen people be very, very disappointed, after instances like that. So, I mean, I really want to, put the power in my hands, per se. I really want to, have a say in, how things are going to go. And, a fan of MMA, I've been a fan for a long time. I've watched a lot of fights, a lot of close decisions, a lot of decisions I didn't agree with. But it's really impossible to figure out, the rhyme or reason some of these decisions go certain ways. So, I can't figure that out. All I have figured out is if I knock them out, I win. And if, they finish me, then I didn't win. So that's pretty much what it is. Simplify the process for me. I really want to, the excitement, the legacy, I think, when it comes down to I'm 22-2 with 19 or 20 knockouts. I'm very proud of that. So yeah, it's just important to me, not for a lot of good reasons, I guess.
The referee comes to fighters before every fight and has like a rules meeting, and it kind of explains, right, like a little bit of a rundown of what the in-cage rules are. Has anyone from a commission ever come to you and explained what the judging criteria is and said, hey, this is how we're going to score this fight?
No, absolutely not. I mean, there's a definition of what's supposed to be scored, but you can't take the human out of it. Everybody, it's in the eye of the beholder per se. And so, if you have two judges that are coming from grappling backgrounds and one from a striking background, then, I'm sure that the grappling is going to be more heavily favored in the scoring. So, I guess you could maybe see who your judges are going to be, see what kind of background they have, and then play to that. That'd be the only way to kind of, because it's never going to be the same. It's always going to be something different every fight, every time they change the judges.
Do you wish there was more of that transparency and more explanation given by the commissions?
There's really no, it's not this or that in this sport. For me, the surest way past that is to knock them out or get knocked out.
Fair enough. Last thing for me, there's been a lot of buzz on social media the last few days about Conor and Khabib keeps coming up. Conor and Khabib, maybe Ultimate Fighter. But Khabib has a fight coming up, and it's against you in a few weeks. I mean, do you think that buzz is a little bit like maybe pump the brakes on that a little bit?
It doesn't matter. Khabib's gonna go fight GSP after I beat him. And then go. So I'll be here. I'll have the belt, and I'll be ready.
You think McGregor would be the first contender if you're the champ?
I don't even want to talk about that guy. I'm done there.
Fair enough. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it.
Yep.
We will take our next set of questions from Mojang Wu with Hupu Media.
Hi, Justin. How are you?
Great, thank you. How are you doing?
Hey, great. This is a Tiger brother from China. So many Chinese fans, including me, believe you are the most violent lightweight fighter in the UFC. They love to see you stand in front of opponents and exchange heavy punches. But we didn't get enough chances to see you fight on the ground for most time. Would you bring out something different when you fight against Khabib this time?
I've wrestled my whole life. And I wrestle a lot in there. Huge part of wrestling is not being able to let someone take you down and hold you down. And that was my main focus my whole life when I wrestled. I never had a great offense, but you could not take me down. You could not hold me down. So, I'm going to use that. It's very important to stay off the ground. I'm not trying to go in there and wrestle with Khabib. I don't think I could beat him in a wrestling now because I haven't focused on wrestling like that to win a wrestling match. I'm not there. But, I've constantly worked on my defense. That's never gone away. In fighting, it's detrimental to be on bottom. But when someone can beat you up and cause serious injury to you, then being taken down is not where you want to be and laying on your back. So I have to focus on not being on the fence, not getting taken down. And if I do get taken down, I got to make him work. Like his life depends on it. If he does take me down, then I need to make sure that I threaten him with something up the middle that at least is going to make him hesitate next time. And so that's what I'll be in there doing.
Understandable. Wow, that's very cool. So we know you offer the $500 for anyone who can drop you during the body shot sparring to get more prepared for war on this fight. So you have created a reward system to let training partners push you harder, right?
Yeah.
I have no doubt about your great determination and hard work you put for this fight. But how would you keep the balance between training properly and push yourself hard prior to the biggest fight of your career?
I mean, Trevor Whitman is my coach, and he is at every single one of my workouts. I really trust him, to pull me back if I ever need to be pulled back, things like that. But I just really need people to come in here and really train hard. I can't have guys that are hesitating, because I'm going to help them if they're hesitating and they're scared. And I need people. You need to understand. If I can spar with anybody and not hurt you. I've done it a lot with normal people off the street, just for fun. And I will not hurt you. If you're at my level, you have control of everything. I can put my foot on your face and not kick you. So I need them to push me, but I just have to keep working like I always have. I've always had people around me that, have protected me from myself. And right now, Trevor is that man. So, if it needs to happen, he'll do it. But, I have to be ready mentally.
Okay. And it seems that you had a blast time when you met the leader in Nevada rally half months ago. So what kind of energy does that give to you? Do you remember that last time?
I mean, it's when it comes to this fight, there's only like 4 or 5 things I can control. So that doesn't mean a thing. But after the fact, I'll love to. Trump is a huge fan of MMA. He's a huge, he's a reason, maybe not a huge reason, but he's a reason that the UFC is here. He opened his doors for us when we had no doors to walk through. So yeah, it was, and me, the president of the United States, it doesn't matter. It could have been, Obama. It could have been Trump. It could be, if I meet the president of the United States, I'm from a very small town, a very small place, from hardworking people. We respect the president of the United States as our leader. And so it was really cool opportunity for me, for my family, for my town to get to have that experience.
Yeah, I found a very interesting scene. Colby Covington put his hand over your shoulder when you guys were taking photos. So what kind of a relationship you guys have built up after that meeting?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I actually, the day after that, I was singing his praises because of, how professional he was and how, I guess, how he held himself. But then he went on to do a bunch of interviews, and I really, I probably despise that man more than anybody on planet Earth, other than like child pedophiles and murderers and things like that. But he is a coward. He is a fake person. He stands there and acts like this soft, soft-hearted dude, and then he gets behind a camera and is a total coward and a fake person. I've never met someone as fake as Colby Covington. And as a man, I would love to slap him right across the face.
Wow, I see that. So can I ask you one last question? So could you predict the result of this fight and through which way?
No, I never guess or pick how my fights will end. This is the biggest fight of my life, and winning is critical. Winning will change the course of my life. And so I'm putting everything and anything I can in order to be properly prepared.
Thank you so much, Gaethje. And we love you so much as always. We appreciate your true character, and the best good luck on that fight. Thank you so much.
Sure, you have a great day.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Dennis Gecko with RT.
Hello, Justin. Can you hear me?
Sir.
Do you need to get aggressive towards someone you're fighting, or you just like to keep it professional?
I never want to get aggressive. It was weird. Back when I was like in World Series, I was a crazy dude. Like, during weigh-ins, I'd walk around staring at my guy and trying to intimidate him. But, I don't know if I needed a sense of confidence that I couldn't, get by myself. But it was always fake. I'd have despised some people. When I fought Firmino, I didn't like the guy for some reason. Vic, Johnson, those are awesome wins, in hindsight. But, I really have learned that you can never let somebody control your thoughts or emotions. So, for me, it's just another day at the office, and I'm trying to get paid.
Is it going to be hard for you to get aggressive against Khabib, keeping in mind what has happened to his family lately?
No. I'm going to try to kill him like he's going to try to kill me. And I shouldn't be using that phrase. I'm going to try and beat him into submission. I want him to quit. I want him to know that I'm the superior athlete, the superior man. That's the goal of this game. No, that's, it's not a factor. It's not a factor for him or for me once that cage closes.
Have you changed anything in your preparation as far as different sparring partners, keeping in mind Khabib's style and his wrestling, his grappling level?
Yeah, I've definitely been focusing on, in order to wrestle, for a certain amount of time, you have to prepare your body. This acid that starts to build up in your forearms and your feet and your calves and your thighs, is something that you can't just gain overnight. So I've definitely been focusing on this, not only my whole life, but certainly the last, 9 weeks. I've been really, really hammering down on it. I surround myself with people that I pay to get me ready to fight, and I follow lessons, I follow directions. So I'll be ready.
And the last one for me, Khabib has been for a few weeks already in Emirates. He's getting ready. He's training here. And you come in later. Do you think it's going to be a factor for you that he has been here for a certain amount of time? He's well acclimatized, yeah. So,
I think if I allow it to become a factor, then it can be. But it's fight or flight. When my life's on the line, when I'm in danger, I'm going to fight. It doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m., 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 11 p.m. It doesn't matter. I was born for this, so we can fight whenever.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Carl Neidhart with Zone Germany.
Hi, Justin. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi there. One question. It's a little bit specific, but we all heard the story about you helping Khabib with his weight cut long time ago. Normally, Khabib has this aura of invincibility for his opponents. Now you have witnessed him in a spot of let's not say weakness, but in a frail, intimate state of the body. Is that a psychological advantage maybe because you don't have that respect from that aura that he normally brings for his opponents?
No, it does not play a factor. I have to go through the same thing he does. And when the bitch comes out of me, I see it first and foremost before anybody else. It's happened before. It happens sometimes. You fight not to let it happen, but we are normal people. He is a normal person. He has emotions just like I do. And so I'll never believe anybody is, greater than a man can be. So, I know that it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. I don't even really remember it. I remember helping him out of the bathtub. It meant nothing at the time. He wasn't in a bad spot. He just needed help out of the bathtub. And I happened to be there because we had the same manager and I was in the same, I was in his presence at the time. So it really was nothing more than that.
Fair enough. Is that that level of respect between you two, is that like the true essence of MMA? Not all the trash talk stuff and like talking bad behind each other's back and stuff like that, but just two athletes going at it and finding out who's the best?
I think it's definitely, where we started. The reason why we started was just to see, which martial art was superior. Now we get to see which part of the world is superior, in a sense. And so, I'm proud to represent the United States in this competition. That's all it is. It's a competition. It's a game. And when it's over, we will have our family. We will have love from our family. And so that's what gets me, through all this so easy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where I was going.
From a tactical standpoint, normally in MMA, balance and finding the right distance are always important, but are they a little bit even more important in this combination since your style meets his style?
Yeah, this is a world championship fight. He's number one, number two, pound for pound in the world. So what was the specific question?
If balance and finding the right distance towards your opponent during the fight, if these factors are even more important considering the style you both bring to the table.
Yeah, I think it's the most important factor in any fight. who controls distance is established very early on in the fight. You can't see it, I can't see it, but someone establishes that. So and usually that person is more effective. So it's going to be very important for me to establish distance control, and I have to keep moving off angles. I can't sit on the tracks. You call them the train tracks. I can't be on the same tracks as he's on. I have to constantly be off the tracks. And I possess some serious power. So I got to touch him when he's least expecting it in a spot that he will go to sleep.
Thank you. And last question, your father has German roots. Is there a little connection towards Germany? Any relationship to the country?
Honestly, not a lot. I've never been. I was raised Hispanic. I'm white on the outside and brown on the inside. I've said it since day one. If you watch me fight, you know that's the truth.
Thank you very much for your time.
We will take the next set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Justin, I want to ask you, obviously, recently they announced Michael Chandler as the alternate. You obviously don't want him to be necessary, but I just want to touch on your thoughts if you were to potentially face him.
I don't know, man. That has not even almost crossed my mind.
Is he somebody down the road, or is it only Khabib and you're not entertaining any other opponents?
Once I have the belt, it's gonna be funny when I get this belt. Think about who you want to fight next, and the reason I'm getting this belt is so I don't have to call people out. The target. I want the target on my back. So we'll see how the cards fall.
Understood. I saw you post on Instagram today. Look, I know as a public figure, and obviously since you're winning more big fights, you must get more and more DMs, some positive, some not. I just want to ask, how do you deal with that? You seem like a guy who probably keeps to yourself a bit. What's it like when you have all these people kind of trying to invade your personal life like that?
It comes with the territory, and it's really something that you have to expect. The only reason I shared that is because he said he has my address, and he said he was going to come, cause harm to me. So I wanted to just, kind of, I don't know, let it be known, I guess, that there's shitty people out there, even though we all know that. But, actually, since I made that post, the guy wrote me back and said he was drunk and didn't remember saying it. And people suck.
I get you. I'm glad you're doing well with that. A bit of housekeeping. You said in your interview with Brett that you were looking to get your camera person since Khabib is probably going to have a crew. Was Ali able to get it done?
Yeah, I got him. My coach's son is coming out. He's our media guy.
Secondly, I know you talked about having Rafa Garcia in camp to help you a bit. People are wondering, though, were you ever able to work with Kamaru a lot for your wrestling to prepare for Khabib?
No, after Kamaru fought, he went back. He's been back for a week or two. But, no, he hasn't been a huge part of this camp.
My final question, you go out there, you'll have beaten Tony and Khabib back-to-back in 1 year. Have you thought about what that's going to feel like? What do you imagine when they raise your hand? Man, I've thought about it, but I don't let myself go there because, it's not necessary. But it will feel incredibly fulfilling, I guess. It's been a long journey for me, a long journey for my family. From my sister, my brother, my others, my sisters, my brother, now my nieces and nephew. We've been on this journey for a long time. So this is the pinnacle, and I got to go perform. Hey, thank you, Justin. Good luck.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Igor Lazorin with TASS.
Justin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Justin. I'm from Russia. We made a live stream with you on Instagram. So,
yeah.
Yep. Good day to my colleagues too. My question is, many fights in Fight Island are cancelled due to coronavirus. Are you worried that your fight against Khabib could be cancelled or postponed too in the same reason?
I mean, it's a concern, but I have zero control over any of that. So I won't lose sleep. It would suck if that was to happen. That would be terrible. For one, someone would be sick. So you just wish that they would get better if someone's sick. But the safety protocols are there for a reason. We're there to protect the athletes, protect the employees mostly. The UFC employees aren't there to get sick. They're there to get a paycheck. So we need to protect them.
And second question, many people told Justin underdog. What can you say to these people?
I'm an underdog this fight. If you bet the last one, you made some good money. I'll never advise people to go bet their money, but I've only lost when I was the favorite. I'll say that. I was the favorite against Eddie. I was the favorite against Poirier, and I was an underdog against Vic. Brilliant.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Nolan King with MMA Junkie.
Good time, man. I think by a lot of people's assessments, this fight is the biggest one of your career. I think that's a given. But for a guy like you, who's been on in some of the most grueling fights in MMA history, dishing it out, receiving it, for a fight like this, does it feel any different? I mean, do you have nerves when you go into something like this? Is there an extra added level of anxiety, or is it just another fight?
I mean, it's the biggest fight of my life. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But no, I'm not going to let outside influences influence the way I need to think or act or prepare. So it's really just staying, true to my beliefs, which is, be better than yesterday, make better choices than yesterday. And, I've been doing that for 8 weeks now. I got, 3.5 more. So I'll be ready. I'll be ready as I possibly can be.
Yeah, and 28 guys have tried to defeat Khabib, and that's never happened. So for you, I mean, what do you think the X factor is here for you? What do you think you can do differently maybe that these other 28 guys have failed at?
I don't know. Every fighter's different. He's fought a lot of different guys. My confidence is probably my biggest factor right now. Paired with the power that I possess, paired with the coach that I have. That's a dangerous combination. And I don't care if I win or lose, at the end of the day, as long as I make my family happy, as long as I'm proud of my performance, then it doesn't matter. That's what makes me most dangerous. I don't know if he's ever fought someone like that. He probably has. And another factor is a lot of luck, a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work, a lot of skill, and a little bit of luck in this game. So anybody can go to sleep. He's a fool if he doesn't think, he can go to sleep.
Awesome, Justin. Well, good luck, man. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
We will take our next set of questions from Julian Kiewicz with Independent Media.
Hi, Justin. This is Julian from Cape Town, South Africa. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, thank you, man. I just want to know from you, obviously you guys had the same manager. Was there any point of time that Ali saw this fight coming along and had a discussion with you guys regarding things, how to go down the line and how you guys feel about it?
I don't talk to Ali about other athletes that he manages. I expect him to, when we're talking about business for me, that's all that matters. The way that this happened, I guess we probably weren't able to have that step. I wasn't supposed to fight Tony, but I did. And as soon as I beat him, this fight was, you can't take this away from me. So, Ali is here to make his athletes' dreams come true. In a sense, he has a little, he has some good control over that on, when it comes to negotiating, making money, getting fights. Even people that know me and Khabib, and they're like, man, I don't want to see this fight. I'm like, why, if we're both your friend, why wouldn't you be happy that these guys are fighting to be the best in the world, in what we chose to do? This is our choice. This is what we chose to make, our job. So for me, it's, if this was my brother, it would be so magical and special that we both made it to the pinnacle of a sport to fight each other, to compete against each other. So if you're a competitor, that's how you look at it, and if you're, emotional, then, you don't, maybe.
Cool. And then just, did you find it odd that he's come back so soon after the death of his father, and seeing that his father played such a huge role in his life? Did you expect him to take a bit more time before, say, Justin, can we move this fight maybe to December or something like that?
I don't know. I can't put myself in the shoes. If it was, no, I don't even want to, couldn't even put myself in his shoes because I don't want to ever think about that. But if I was in his shoes, I would fight. If I was in his shoes, my dad would want me to fight. That's what we do. That's what my dad would do.
Cool. And then just lastly, regarding the podcast with Joe Rogan, I know Tim has been trying to get the gloves also to be go mainstream. Also, has he got made any grounds with his designs? And obviously, there's big issues with the gloves in the UFC. Yeah,
I mean we're constantly selling out of our gloves. We've sold probably last 2 weeks. We finally got to send out our initial, one of our pre-orders, and we sent out like 480 pairs of gloves. We got shin guards and headgears coming very soon. And when that hits the market, I mean, it's going to change. It's just practicality of the equipment that's supposed to protect you, is there. The science is there. The innovation is there. Equipment hasn't changed. They put a pad and they want it to weigh a certain amount. You go look at 16-ounce gloves on the market, and you're rarely going to find a 16-ounce glove that weighs 16 ounces. They're going to weigh 15, 14, 13. So it's important. It's important that you're wearing 16 ounces to protect your opponents, or not opponents. You don't protect your opponents. You're training and trying to stay healthy. And it's huge, but. Starting a small business, I'm sure anywhere in the world is not easy. There's so many steps you have to come across, so many mountains you have to climb, and we're doing it though. Trevor is an innovator, and he will change. He won't change, but he will play a huge role in changing the way we approach training. Yeah. On that point, all the best with the gloves and the equipment, and also I can't wait to see you make that speech to let your mom know that she has to retire by now. All the best, brother. Thank you, man. You have a great day. Same to you, for sure.
We'll take our next set of questions from Tanuj Lakhina with Network 18.
Justin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So I just wanted to know, do you see and approach this fight any different to what you would in the past? No. I mean, any sort of different mechanism that you're considering or doing in the past few weeks and going forward as well?
Nope. Just be my best. I'm explosive. I'm athletic. I don't look athletic, but I could do a flip off a fence, no problem. I can do it on the ground, no problem. I'm just athletic. I'm going to rely on the skill that I possess, that I have, been, honing for since I was 4. So I'm going to go ahead and keep relying on hard work and smart choices. And I'm going to go in there and fight. I have to fight an incredible fight. At this level, you have to be perfect. You cannot make mistakes. If he wants to go in there and throw caution to the wind, then it's not a smart plan. If I want to do the same, that's absolutely stupid.
Coming to the strategy itself, Eddie Alvarez believes you don't have enough tools to deal with Khabib, especially with the grappling. What are your thoughts on that assessment?
One more time?
Eddie Alvarez believes you don't have enough tools to deal with Khabib, especially with the grappling. So what are your thoughts on that assessment made?
I don't care what Eddie says.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Sumik Dada with Sportskeeda.
Justin, how are you doing?
I'm great.
Okay, so my first question was, back at UFC 249, you ended Tony Ferguson's winning streak. which eventually got you to this position. So, what is your biggest takeaway from a fight like that? Ending Tony's winning streak.
There was a lot of good things to take away. I was very surprised that I could fight, that long, and be that effective for that long. So, that adds to my confidence going into this fight. It'll be super important.
Mm-hmm. So, recently we saw you respond to Conor McGregor on Twitter. You said you don't want to talk about him, but was there ever an offer on the table? Do you maybe fight against him?
I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know. I mean, they asked, obviously after I beat Tony, they said, I could fight him, but there was never an option for me. When I beat Tony that night, I punched my ticket. That was my golden ticket. I'm not going to, offer it up for free. I'm going to punch my golden ticket.
You said that you won the target on your back after winning the title. But I really want to ask you that, would you like to avenge a loss to Dustin Poirier maybe at some time down the road?
Absolutely. Yes. That would be very important to me.
Okay, last question. Last question from me. So Khabib, as we know, he's unbeaten so far. But you said that you want to see him bleed inside the cage with you. What do you have to do differently in order to beat him? And what difference could we see from Justin Gaethje that other people couldn't do?
I don't know. Michael Johnson was a good striker. Dustin Poirier is a good striker. Neither are as athletic as me. Neither, possess skills to scramble out of takedowns and things like that. I mean, they don't not possess the skills, but it's not their forte. That's what I've been doing for a long time. As long as Khabib has trained, I have trained. I promise you that. There's no possible way. We're the same age. He has not worked harder or longer than me. It's not possible. So I don't know what I offer different. That's it's really an irrelevant question because the reason why you're such a big fan of the sport and the reason why I'm such a big fan of the sport is because of the unpredictability, and that's what I'm counting on.
Okay, well, I wish you good luck for your fight, sir.
Thank you.
We will take our next set of questions from Leslie Wilson with Gulf News.
Hello?
Hello, Justin.
Hi.
Can you hear me, Justin?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Justin. It's a case of so near and yet so far, because I'm a journalist living down in Dubai, and it's an absolute honor to see you face to face over here. But there's one problem. Coming on the back end of the interview line, many of the questions that I had in mind have already been asked by somebody else. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to go to plan B and ask you some questions that may sound ridiculous. Okay, Here we go. Well, most of us are sipping our Java coffee in the morning and chomping on some scrambled eggs and hash browns. You be there facing up with another monster early morning. Isn't it strange, bizarre to be fighting early morning when people are just brushed their teeth and just waking up, getting their senses going, Justin?
It will be crazy. One thing that's a little bit different about this fight, I believe, I still haven't got, an answer, but I don't believe we'll be fighting at the same time as the UFC cards have been happening. I think we'll be on European time, and I haven't figured out exactly what that means, but, I believe I'll be fighting between 2 and 3 p.m. my time, local time where I'm at right now.
Your body clock, yeah, cool.
So I'll be good.
Yeah. Justin, you probably watched the Poirier-Khabib fight a couple of times. Were there any lessons that you learned from that? Dustin wasn't without his chances to break the invincibility of Khabib. Is there anything that you saw a glimmer of hope?
I watched the fight the night that it happened, but I have not watched it since. I remember after the fight, I thought, Poirier really shit the bed when it comes to trying to stay off the fence, Khabib could be so good where it's just absolutely impossible to keep you keep yourself out of that position. And then I'll look like an asshole and a stupid ass. So, we're going to find out. I believe that I possess the skills. for one, stay off the fence. If he wants to take me down, let's do it in the open. Where proper technique is absolutely necessary, and that's my goal.
Totally agree. So how do you think you're going to keep the fight in the middle, Justin?
Well, I mean, Tony never got close to me. It's all about controlling distance. How I control distance is cause. It's going to be changing levels. It's going to be moving off. I stated train tracks. I can't be on the train tracks with him. If there's a straight line here, I got to be somewhere off. If he's going to close the distance and try to take me on, I have to at least threaten damage. Whether I'm collarbone, I'm elbowing an elbow, I'm punching an elbow or a shoulder, whatever. As long as it's in this area, it's going to cause hesitation, and hesitation, eventually will be a killer.
Yeah. I'm going to say something ridiculous. I mean, I've never been a big fan of Floyd Mayweather, 40-0, et cetera. And I feel there are a lot of comparisons with him and Khabib in the octagon as well. He's kind of an awkward fighter to me. Is that something you agree with, Justin?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. He's so effective because,
I agree, yeah.
What he is, what you're going to see. It's impossible to replicate what you're going to see. He is perfect. We all, in wrestling, everyone has a certain move that they're great at, even though it's not technically sound. It's not even what you should be doing, but for some reason it works for this person. And that's how he is. He is very great. And he's going to be, it's going to be a chess match. I got to be very, methodical approach.
Yeah. Hope you be the Kasparov, Justin.
What's that?
I said, I hope you are the Kasparov. You said it's a chess match, so the great Kasparov made chess something else, yeah.
As long as we ain't playing real chess, because I ain't good at that.
Yeah, okay. Cheers, Rowan. Best of luck.
Later, man. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
Now we'll take our last set of questions from Mike Bond with USA Today.
Justin, obviously none of us are pleased we're in a pandemic right now, but given how you performed against Tony with the no crowd, are you happy that this fight is going to be under those circumstances as well, especially given where it's taking place? I assume it would have been a very pro Khabib crowd.
Yeah, I want to go into those hostile territories. So this is a missed opportunity right now, actually. But, all of it's irrelevant, to be honest with you. The most important thing would be for my parents to be there. But outside that, nothing matters, man.
Fair play. And last thing from me, given what Khabib has done, do you think this is going to be, if you win, the last time you run into him, or do you think 28-0, that's worthy of potentially an immediate rematch?
There's a lot of factors that come into that. How you lose. If it's a really, really close fight and I somehow get a controversial decision, then yeah, I'm sure we would fight a rematch. If I can finish him early, I'm going to look for the next mountain to climb. If I, get finished early, he's going to keep fighting. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. How this fight goes is a huge factor.
And I know it's a bit of a loaded question, but if I just asked you, when you think about it in your mind, what kind of a UFC champion do you want to be? What do you want your title reign to look like? What would you say to that?
I don't know. I like to fight at least twice a year. That'd be cool.
Sweet. Thanks, Justin. Best of luck.
Thank you so much for the time, Justin. That is all we have for you, sir. You are good to go.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for the time and questions, everybody. We will be joined in roughly 10 minutes by UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Me видеть делаешь?
We're now joined by UFC lightweight Khabib Nurmagomedov. For those of you who were not here earlier, UFC 254 takes place Saturday, October 24th on Abu Dhabi's Yas Island and will stream live on pay-per-view exclusively through ESPN Plus in the US at a special broadcast time of 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. local time. With that, we welcome UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib, thank you for the time today, sir.
Hey, thank you, guys. What's up, guys? How are you? How is everything?
We're doing well. Thank you, sir. We will take the first set of questions from Dennis Gaethje with RT.
Okay, it's beginning interview?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Hello, Khabib. How are you?
Hello. How are you? How is everything?
Pretty good. Thanks. You have a big team with you in Emirates. A lot of your teammates are fighting on Fight Island. Some of them making their debuts. Does it make it harder for you to focus on your own fight, keeping in mind that they all see you as a leader?
Of course, it's nothing easy in his life, you know. And Tagir have debuted, Umar have debuted, you know. And with Umar, I'm going to fight same night. With Islam, I'm going to fight same night. Of course, this is not easy, but what we can do. But preparing, training together, cutweight together, everything, this is very easy. But fight day, it's going to be a little bit nervous things. But what we can do, and you know, this sport is not easy, and if you want to be champion, you have to take risk, you have to take everything what you can, and then you can become success and become champ.
The last time you fought in Emirates, your father was with you in your camp. How difficult is it for you to prepare to the fight without him, knowing that he's not going to be in your corner?
I don't understand when people ask me how difficult for you train without father. Of course, this is difficult. I don't understand why you guys keep asking me this. This is very difficult, you know. What do you think? You have your father?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have father?
Yes, I do.
Yes, if something happened with him, what do you think? It's going to be difficult for you or easy?
Yeah, obviously it's very difficult.
Yes, I'm human too, you know, of course this is very difficult.
Justin compared the fight between you two with a chess match. Do you think you're a better chess player when it comes to fight strategy?
I don't think it's going to be chess match, you know. I think my fighting IQ is much better than Justin Gaethje, you know. He's just tough guy, he like fighting, he like blood, you know. He's like real warrior, but when we talk about fighting IQ, I think my fighting IQ is much better than he have, you know. And I think Justin, he have very good coach. This is my opinion. He have great coach. Like even if you can watch his last fight, when he fight with Tony Ferguson, how he cornered him. I think his name is Matt Wyman. Matt Wyman, I think. And he gave him very good advice. I think he have very good and very great coach. And of course, Justin can fight. You know, he can go deep, and he have heart. But if you talk about like fighting IQ, I think I have much better than him.
The last question for me. Fighters usually don't like to give predictions before the fight, but sometimes you say exactly what you're going to do. And I mean corner fight, because you said exactly what you're going to do and you did exactly that, how it played out. Can you give us prediction for this fight?
Yeah, like nothing changed. I'm going to try wrestling with him, you know. If you're going to defend if you're going to defend my takedown one time, I'm going to try second, third, I'm going to try 100 times. And, you know, of course, I'm going to box with him. I'm going to kick with him, you know. And it's going to be kickboxing and wrestling, like mix. And my goal is make him tired. I'm gonna make him tired. This is my goal. And maybe around number 3 or around number 4, my plan is finishing.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll take the next set of questions from Yaroslav Stepanov with Sport24.
Хабиб, приветствую. Как слышно?
Да, приветствую вас. Все хорошо. Хорошо слышно.
Вот насколько можно судить из Инстаграма, вы с командой тренируетесь в зале над Аль-Шеба, который располагается в Дубае. На прошлой неделе вы ездили в Абу-Даби, чтобы секундировать Зубайру Тухугова, и после такого переезда вроде бы полагается 48 часов провести в изоляции. Как вот в эти 48 часов выглядел твой тренировочный процесс, и насколько такого времяпровождения желательно избегать, когда до боя остается месяц?
Не, смотрите, у меня в номере были маты, у меня в номере была беговая дорожка, у меня большой номер был велик, была груша, потом скакалка. Я нормально тренировался. Вы знаете, я этим занимаюсь всю свою жизнь. Всю свою жизнь я этим занимаюсь, и я знаю, какие дни на что нужно давить. Эти дни, которые я был в Абу-Даби 2 дня, я больше на качку давил. Больше индивидуально работал. Прилетел сюда и обратно в Дубай. И в Дубае то же самое. Тренировки, только уже на другой начал давить. Больше спарринг, больше схватки. Насчет... смотрите, мы здесь тренируемся. Нас принял наследный принц Дубая. Мы тренируемся в его резиденции. И каждые 48 часов нас тестируют. Сколько мы уже здесь? Уже, получается, 20 дней. 20 дней я где-то уже 12 раз тест сдал. Не только я, вся команда. Мы каждый день, каждые 1,5-2 сутки сдаем тест. Нас постоянно тестируют. И мы проверяемся, если что-то не так, если у кого-то там какие-то хоть маленькие какие-то изменения, резко человека изолируют на сутки, на 2. И в этом плане у нас все здесь очень строго.
Вот в то же время ни для кого не секрет, что в Эмиратах к тебе проявляют очень много внимания и стараются окружить всегда максимально комфортными условиями для тренировок, проживания и прочего. Вот если сравнить этот тренировочный отрезок с лагерями в США или в России, насколько тебе комфортнее в Эмиратах и в каком аспекте, возможно, бытовом ты это чувствуешь лучше всего? Вот о чем ты можешь вообще не заботиться, как вы в Сан-Хосе, например, сами себе кушать готовитесь, убираетесь и прочее?
Здесь вообще сильно за нами уход. Честно сказать, главное, чтобы ребята не привыкли. Здесь же у нас есть и начинающие ребята, которые только начинают. Знаете, вот кому 19, 20, кому 22, просто 22 года у меня вообще никаких условий не было. А эти ребята 22 уже, у них считают, что такие королевские условия. Это же может в голове засесть, она же может внутри вас все поменять. А нужен голод. И в прямом смысле, и в переносном смысле. Голод это то, чем движет. Так что я чуть беспокоюсь насчет молодых ребят. Насчет себя, что я могу? Конечно, я чувствую, что здесь за нами очень серьезный уход. И готовят, и стирают, как говорится. И в этом плане очень серьезно здесь.
И последний вопрос от меня. Вот в одном из интервью Джастин выдвигал такую теорию. У Хабиба в его боях никогда не было сечек и серьезных повреждений. И когда в нашем бою он увидит свою кровь, я очень хочу посмотреть на его реакцию. Вот понимаешь ли ты, какая у тебя будет реакция, и можешь ли ты вспомнить последнюю ситуацию, когда получал серьезную сечку или что-то подобное? Может, на тренировке, может, в другой ситуации, и кто был ее автором?
Не могу вспомнить, честно. Не то чтобы скрываю, просто не могу вспомнить. Если пойдет кровь, не знаю, конечно, это неприятно. Я не думаю, что это кому-то может быть приятно, если у кого-то идет кровь. Знаете, я тренируюсь очень тяжело, очень правильно. Я делаю все, что нужно, чтобы мой бойцовский стиль приносил наибольший вред моему сопернику. Точнее, чтобы я, нанося вред и ущерб сопернику, мог сохранить себя. Так что не знаю даже, как на этот вопрос ответить. Пойдет кровь, пойдет, что теперь делать? Я же не первый человек, у кого кровь идет, или кровь пойдет. Не знаю даже, как на это реагировать. Я вообще стараюсь вообще не реагировать и не пускать себе в голову там то, что говорят мои соперники. Ну, говорят, что теперь делать. Самое главное, чтобы когда клетка закроется, чтобы мы были готовы. Но я бы не хотел, чтобы у меня кровь шла. Не знаю. Если он хочет, мы ему пустим кровь. Но я не хочу, чтобы у меня кровь шла.
Все, понял. Спасибо. Всего хорошего.
Спасибо.
We will take the next set of questions from Mark Raimondi with ESPN.
Hey, Habib, thank you for taking the time out, man.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. This may not completely apply to you because I think you've won every single round in the UFC, but what are your thoughts on judging and scoring in MMA?
What I think?
Yeah, do you think it's good? Do you think there are issues?
I think sometimes it's good, sometimes no. You know, I think we have to put on judge like guys who fighting, who have experience inside the cage. You know, it's my opinion. You know, but I don't know. Maybe if it's gonna be like 3 judges and all wrestlers, maybe they're gonna score more wrestling skills. Or if we put only striking guys, maybe they're gonna score only striking skills, you know. But I don't know, you know, like honestly, I don't know what we can do. But only one thing I know, we can't give chance to referee who never compete in MMA. This is my opinion, you know. This is very dangerous because guys working so hard all this life and he can win, but some judges think different, who never compete in this sport, and he can kill his career, you know. And this is my opinion.
Every fight, the referee comes in the back and explains, you know, these are the rules, this is what's illegal, that type of thing. Has anyone ever explained to you, hey, this is what the judges are looking for, this is what the judges are, they're scoring the fight? Has anyone ever actually come to you, like a commissioned person, about that?
Yeah, always. Before every fight they come. Oh, I'm gonna be your referee, and they explain like some rules. And always I have one question for this, guys. When and how you can stop fight? And I ask about cut, and when you can stop, and I ask about if you eat some punch and how many punch he can give you to stop this fight, you know. And I always tell referee, please don't stop early, because I'm professional, you know. And I take the risk. Please don't stop this fight early if something happens, because this is MMA. One crazy punch or one crazy kick can change everything. And before every fight, I told my referees, please don't stop this fight early.
And do they ever explain to you judging too, like how the fight will be scored, how the judges will look at it?
No, they always explained us only rules.
Right.
Yeah, judges never come. Referee come. Referee always come. I never see judges. I never see in my life. I never see judges in UFC. I don't even know how they look.
Do you think the judges should be more, more public, like explain what they're looking at more?
It's gonna be good idea. This is good idea. Why not? You know, it's like even not all fights. You know, maybe common event, main event. After every event, maybe if they explain public like why they scored like this or something like this, it's gonna be interesting for people. You know, why not?
And just last thing for me, what are your thoughts on Khamzat Chimaev? Maybe the next Khabib. Yes, what are your thoughts?
What I think, I don't know, like what UFC gonna do with him about his next opponent, but in my opinion, I think he deserve top 10, top 15. My opinion is top 10. He deserve fight with someone. It's like very tough opponent, like 5 rounds. And then after this one, he deserve contender fight. This is my opinion.
So you think he's the real deal?
Of course, he finished all his opponents, you know. What do you think?
I think so too. But no one cares what I think. They care about what you think.
You know, it's like, I think he deserve. I think he deserve. I think, like, Ali told me he gonna fight. Because we have same manager, Ali told me today he gonna fight with tough opponent, 5 round in December. You know, this is very interesting main event in UFC. You know, this is very good attention. You know, and good opportunity for him. And if he win this fight, next fight, I think he deserve next fight, contender fight.
Got it. Thank you, Khabib. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
We'll take the next set of questions from Carl Neidhart with DAZN Germany.
Hi, Khabib. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, how?
First of all, I'm great. First of all, huge condolences for your loss. I think that's a matter of respect. And then for the sport, many people have talked about Justin's wrestling being a challenge for your wrestling. How do you see it? How good do you see his wrestling to be?
I watch all his fights. I think he have good wrestling defense, very good wrestling defense. You know, he know how to wrestle. You know, and he wrestling almost all his life. But I don't think he last like 5-6 years. He used his wrestling, you know, it's like how I use, because I always use my wrestling in training, inside the cage, because, you know, wrestling and top control, this is what make me champion, you know. And I don't think last couple of years he become very good wrestler. He have base what he have like when he was kid, but right now it's like everything is changed. And of course he know how to defend if someone try to take him down, but we don't, and we all know about his condition too, you know. If I'm gonna attack him first 2 rounds and 3rd round, I think he's gonna finish, because he don't have good condition.
Have you been impressed with his performance against Tony Ferguson? Since we all know you got huge respect for Tony and for his skills. Were you impressed by what Justin did to Tony?
Yes, I was. He, you know, of course, impressed. You know, it was great performance from Justin Gaethje. You know, he beat very tough opponent. You know, he show he can fight 5 rounds. But anyways, he fight only stand up. You know. And they fight like 25 minutes. They don't wrestle. They don't attack each other like in single leg, double leg. You know, it was like only striking match, kickboxing match. You know, but with me, it's gonna be completely different. You have to worry about takedown. You have to worry about boxing. You have to worry about kicking. You have to worry about grappling. You know, you have to worry about MMA. This is not striking game. You know. And you have to worry about condition. You have to worry about my pressure. You know, I'm gonna give him so much, and you have to be ready.
Talking about pressure, I mean, of course, distance and balance is always important in MMA. But considering his striking, your wrestling, your grappling, will keeping the distance or controlling the distance be even more important in this fight?
I don't think only this fight. I think in every fight this is important. You know, distance, control. You know, like pressure. Everything is important in every single fight. You know, and for this fight, I think he tried to be away from me. He tried to be away from cage, and in my opinion, he gonna use footwork. And I think he tried to kill my legs too with his kick, because he have very good kicks. And I'm ready for everything, you know.
You have talked about coaches earlier on, about his coach. How do you think, is coaching even more important in this era we're living in right now without crowds? Has coaching has always been important, but is it even more important right now to have a good coach who gives you like the right sentences?
Of course, coach is always important, because sometimes you think you do something enough, or sometimes you think you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that, you always need coach, and discipline, everything, like Justin Gaethje, a very good coach, my opinion. But I don't know this guy. I think I met him once or twice, but when I see how he cornered him, what advice he gave him, I think he's a great coach. He has very good IQ. Why I talk about IQ? Because MMA is not only like about conditioning, wrestling, striking, or your spirit. MMA about your mind too, And this guy, he has very good mind. He's coach.
Last question from me. You have been at UFC 253. You have seen Israel Adesanya. Your honest opinion, is Israel Adesanya able to be this next big superstar of the UFC? What do you think?
I think he already superstar right now. He's very good. Like he undefeated, 20-0. He beat a lot of tough guys. He beat Gastelum, Whittaker, Costa. It's like he defended his title twice or three times or 2 times.
2 times, I guess.
Yeah, 2 times. Like he already big star.
Thank you very much, Khabib.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Vadim Tikhomarov with Match TV.
Хабиб, здравствуйте, меня слышно?
Да, слышу.
Рад вас видеть. Хабиб, первый вопрос от меня. Вот мы, как журналисты, тоже очень любили общаться с вашим отцом, и я вам действительно соболезную, его нам всем не хватает. Скажите, пожалуйста, успел ли он что-либо вам сказать о Джастине Гейджи, еще когда был здоров? Потому что понятно было, что когда-либо ваши с ним пути могли бы пересечься, и потенциально он мог бы быть вашим соперником. То есть была ли какая-то оценка от Абдулманапа?
Да, мы общались, но мы много не обсуждали, мы обсуждали топ-10. Я даже помню, отец тогда еще далеко было нам, о нашем бое. Говорил, что, скорее всего, Ислам с ним встретится. Каких-то соперников он делил на Ислама, каких-то он распределял на меня. Он мне говорил, что твои соперники это Конор, Парье, Фергюсон, GSP. Вот с ними ты пока подерешься, твое время закончится. А Ислама он других молодых соперников приводил. И вот именно Джастина Гейджи он приводил как соперника Ислама. И видите, как быстро все поменялось, вышел на замену, выиграл Тони Фергюсон и сейчас стал моим соперником. Он хорошо, он всегда отзывался, говорил, хорошие удары, хорошая борьба.
Если можно, еще 2 вопроса от меня. У вас получается уже 2-й год, когда вы проводите по 1 поединку за год. Это не всегда зависит от вас, но вас самого устраивает этот темп, или вы бы хотели чаще драться?
Честно, я хотел бы чуть чаще подраться, потому что время тоже уходит. Мне уже в сентябре, дней 10 назад, уже 32 года исполнилось. Конечно, хотелось бы чаще драться. То один из меня исключили, точнее дисквалифицировали. Потом эта вся история с пандемией раньше были связаны простой из-за травм. Я, конечно, хотел бы чаще драться, но что мы можем сделать? Чтобы подраться на таком высоком уровне, часто это тоже нелегкое дело, но оставаться в форме и еще одновременно столько дел, столько всего. И потом это то, что случилось в последнем месяце, новости, связанные с отцом. Это все вместе что-то сказывается, конечно, но что делать? Я лично хотел бы, конечно, почаще драться.
Если можно, последний вопрос от меня. Все любят обсуждать вашу ударную технику, даже там Дэниел Кормье, другие фанаты. Вот прямой вопрос, а как часто вы кого-то отправляете в нокдауны на спаррингах, при условии, что у вас очень много друзей, ну и близких вам людей с вами спаррингуют? Бывает ли, что вы кого-то посылаете в нокдаун? Спасибо.
Не хотел бы это обсуждать, но с 15 лет я одеваю перчатки. Конечно, я бить умею и ногами, и руками, и коленями, и защищаться умею. И вы никогда не видели на мне крови, хотя я конкурирую на... Если просто сказать, на высоком уровне, это, наверное, будет неправильно. Вы сами понимаете, на каком уровне я сейчас конкурирую, с какими бойцами мне приходится сталкиваться. Так что, я думаю, я вообще не беспокоюсь об оценке, о моей ударке, потому что после окончания моей карьеры, когда пройдут года, люди будут это изучать, смотреть. И я думаю, что многие даже не смогут это раскрыть, как вообще удалось в 28 боях за 12 лет не пропустить ни одного значимого удара. Так что мы это оставим. Как говорится, история нас оправдает.
Спасибо.
Спасибо большое.
We will take the next set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
In the lead up to this fight, we all know what kind of style Justin likes to employ. He likes to engage in a war. He likes to hit his opponents. How important is defense in a fight like this to not allow him to fight his fight?
I think, I don't know. We have to go inside the cage for the answer for this question, Justin, for sure, he gonna try to kill myself, He gonna give me a hard kick, hard punch, He's a tough guy, He's a very tough guy, And when cage closed, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. He have plan, I have plan, and we will see.
In the past, Khabib, you made it very clear that there are certain fights and things that motivate you. You talked about the Georges St. Pierre fight. Obviously, your focus right now is Justin Gaethje. But if everything goes well on October 24th, you defend your title again. What else is out there for you? What motivates you, in terms of the future?
Very good question. Honestly, very good question. I don't know. Like, for example, I'm gonna finish Justin Gaethje inside the cage October 24. What else? This is very good question. We'll see. I love competition. I love compete with best fighters in the world. That's why I'm here. I'm not in UFC to make money. I have a lot of business projects, outside the UFC. I can make money. And it's a good question. Very good question.
You've talked about retirement before. Is that something that is potentially on the table?
What you say? I don't understand.
You've talked about retirement, by a certain age or certain fights. Is retirement something that's possible after this fight?
I don't think. We have a couple options, We're gonna think about this after this fight, And Dana told me after this fight, he has something special for me. And but I told him, please keep this. After fight, we're gonna talk, He said we have like very big things after this fight for me. We'll see.
And last question, you've made it very clear in the past, Khabib, you have no interest in revisiting Conor McGregor. Does it make you angry that still comes up so often in terms of now they talked about the Ultimate Fighter and they want to do the rematch? Like, does it make you angry that name still comes up to you?
Right now I'm focused on Justin Gaethje, you know, October 24. I'm focused on him. You know, I don't wanna underestimate this guy. You know, Justin is a very tough opponent, very tough guy. You know, and he follow his dream. He's very hungry. You know, he just beat a very tough opponent. You know, and I don't wanna underestimate. And I'm focused on October 24.
Thank you, Khabib.
Thank you.
We will take our last set of questions from Ilya Andreev with Sport Express.
Хабиб, я вас приветствую.
Да, приветствую вас.
Хабиб, для начала расскажите просто со своей стороны, почему вы все-таки отказались от участия в шоу The Ultimate Fighter?
Я не отказывался ни от чего. У меня просто впереди бой, и нету смысла разговаривать, что будет после боя. Я никогда этим не занимаюсь, и нету смысла там что-то говорить о будущем, если ты заглядываешься за спиной своего соперника.
Понял. Скажите, всем известно, что у Джастина Гейджа очень опасная алоутити. Как вы сейчас работаете над защитой от паутиков? И работаете ли вообще, учитывая, как вы бились тогда с Барбозой, и, в принципе, вы просто прессингом вы их нейтрализовали?
Сейчас. Как здесь камеру направить? Подождите. Как здесь камера? Подождите секунду. Хотел бы на ваш вопрос ответить. Как здесь камеру
Ну, вас видно.
Подождите секунду. Кое-что хотел вам показать. Походу, я плохо. А меня сейчас видно?
Да, видно.
А как? Сейчас я попробую. Может быть, может она выключит камеру. Просто хотел бы кое-что вам показать. Как я работаю над зашитием. Ну, видите же, она... Ну, давайте
даже очень интересно узнать. Ух ты!
Ну, это так, чтобы вы не нервничали. Как я работаю? Ну, работаю как один из лучших бойцов мира. Как подобает работать одному из лучших бойцов мира. И так что моя эта нога должна быть к 24 октябрю уже стальная внутри клетки.
И кто занимается ее, так скажем, набитием?
Обработкой.
Ну да.
Ну, вся команда. Очень много людей на меня работает. И так что в этом плане я просто хочу, чтобы вы поняли, что я полностью отдаю себе. Грэпплинг, как ударка, как выносливость, как набитие моей передней ноги, потому что до правой он не достанет, но переднюю он может достать, потому что когда тебя бьют без щитков 3-4 раза, бой может поменяться. И я много дрался с хорошими кикерами, там тот же Дусаньос, тот же Барбоза, тот же, возьмем так, Парье, они все же очень хорошо же бьют ногами. И бьют по ногам, и целятся. Можно просто посмотреть того же Барбозу. Это единственный боец в UFC за всю историю, который закончил нокаутом бои, который ударил по ноге, закончил соперника в корпус, закончил соперника в голову, закончил соперника. Так что он очень хороший кикер был. Но мой прессинг им не дает, так скажем, времени, чтобы они могли бить ногами. И в этом бою то же самое будет. Но все может быть. Я готовлюсь. Я всегда готовлюсь под сильные стороны своего соперника. И этот бой не исключение.
А кто в вашем лагере больше всех по стилистике похож на Джастина Gaethje?
Я думаю, что Мавлидин Хайбулаев. Здесь Шарип, Зайнуков, Гаджи Рабаданов. Они на меня свежие каждый раунд, каждый день нападают, так скажем. И есть пару ударников. Есть Усман Нурмагомедов. Вы сами видели крайний его бой, что он сделал соперником. Что он делал соперником ногой, передней его ногой. Усман очень хорошо бьет лоу-кик. Так что очень много людей со мной здесь работает. Но Ислам левша, и Исламу тоже нужен левша. И вот этот момент, и мы под Исламом тоже у нас есть здесь спарринг-партнеры. Так что вся работа идет на нас, на Ислама, на меня, на Умара, Тагира, подготовка. Вот завтра крайне его спарринги будет, и все. И он уже в воскресенье уже на остров улетит в Абу-Даби. Уже он в очень хорошей форме. Так что на нас на четверых работает 20 человек, и подготовка идет очень хорошо.
Вы в своих начальных боях в UFC дважды роняли соперников апперкотами. А Gaethje как раз-таки в последнем поединке с Фергюсоном от апперкота упал. И вы сейчас какие-то, так скажем, комбинации отрабатываете именно с участием апперкота? И почему у вас так хорошо именно этот удар получается в стойке?
Илья, зачем вы раскрываете наш план? Знаете, апперкот, почему он заходит? Вы показываете ноги. Все же от меня ожидают ноги, они чуть-чуть приседают на защиту ног, и оттуда уже можно взрываться. Я как борец, как человек, который боролся в куртке, боролся в вольной борьбе. И у меня очень хорошая спина, ноги, конечно. Я когда подсаживаюсь под проход, и оттуда взрываться мне очень хорошо получается. Не знаю, вот моя, так скажем, мое тело расположено под этот удар. Мне он очень хорошо подходит. И хоть в последних боях я это не демонстрировал, но оно у меня есть. И это оружие, так скажем, лес, который еще, топор еще не тронул, так скажем. И я могу левой ударить, могу правой оверхенд ударить, могу джебами поработать, могу ударить ногой, могу защищаться, могу атаковать, могу взять ногу, с ноги побороться, с корпуса побороться. Уже о партере даже можно и ничего не говорить. Так что у меня очень много оружия в арсенале, и я собираюсь в этом бою, к этому бою подойти очень серьезно.
Вот поединок с Парье, он чем был, на мой взгляд, уникален для вас? Это тем, что вы атаковали его в партере сабмишенами, то есть вы хотели его финишировать, то есть не ground and pound. Это что означает? Это вы, так скажем, под соперника так подстраивались, или это значит, что Хабиб просто изменился?
Нет, это значит, что Хабиб больше работает, больше уделяет время партеру. Если даже люди считают, что я очень хороший партер, и мне надо улучшать ударку, я с этим абсолютно не согласен. Да, я должен улучшать ударку, я улучшаю ее, но я считаю, что я еще больше должен работать над партером. И вы посмотрите на мои бои, с каждым боем я лучше и лучше становлюсь в партере. Я больше начинаю атаковать, больше начинаю спину забирать, на живот садиться, заходить на удушающие. Постоянно пытаюсь финишировать соперников. Так что я считаю, что мой партнер намного лучше стал. Даже возьмем с того боя, который я дрался с Дастином Пори.
Как думаете, каким сабмишеном Gaethje будет легче всего победить?
Ну, у меня еще есть хорошая гильотина, которую я делаю левой рукой. Не знаю, удастся ли или нет, получится или нет, но на тренировках я очень хорошо делаю. Также у меня очень хорошая кимура. Если я сяду на соперника на живот, я громлю его, так скажем, локтями, а если он мне даст спину, я его сзади могу задушить. Но у меня много таких приемов в арсенале, так мне очень интересно их пробовать всех. Я еще полностью не раскрылся в UFC, потому что я знаю, на что я способен. Ну, хотелось бы, наверное, гильотину сделать. В третьем раунде полностью его перебить в стойке, заставить устать, перевести, чуть-чуть ground and pound дать. Потом, когда он станет уставший, прижать к сетке, затянуть вниз и сделать, накинуть гильотину и задушить его.
По поводу боя Зубайра-Тухугова, что скажете о судейском решении и что говорили Зубайре после второго раунда?
Ну, я Зубе сказал, что могут в любую сторону дать оба раунда. Но первый раунд я Зубе отдал. Второй раунд тоже можно было бы отдать, просто на тот момент мы не знали, кому что. Но третий раунд нельзя было отдавать, это 100%. В таких равных боях в основном судьи оценивают, как ты дерешься в крайнем раунде, в третьем раунде. нельзя было давать. Но сейчас что говорить? Не хочу там говорить там, о каких-то проблемах, там, как говорится, оправдываться. Ну, что есть, то есть. Что получилось, то получилось. Уже ничего не вернешь, значит, так надо было. Я бы хотел, чтобы Зуба подрался в январе. Сейчас месяц отдохнет, приедет домой, где-то в середине ноября начнет тренировку. Не хочу, чтобы он застаивался, простаивал. Ему надо подраться в январе. Это мое мнение, вернуться, выиграть и потихоньку вернуть свои позиции.
Спасибо. И последний вопрос от меня, очень вот интересный. Узнать это про бой с Порье еще тот. В начале второго раунда вы пропустили 2 удара подряд, когда он встал в правшу. Вы здесь ошиблись или это Порье удалось вас перехитрить в том поединке? И не думаете ли, что Gaethje он все же более опасный ударник, чем Порье?
Нет, не думаю, потому что Порье нокаутировал его. Это во-первых. Во-вторых, то, что Порье ударил. Ну, вы поймите, я же конкурирую с одним из лучших бойцов мира. Порье же это же не просто там чемпион Московской области или там чемпион из КФО. Это один из лучших бойцов мира, который это доказывает с каждым разом. Ну, то, что он ударил, я думаю, что причиной тому было его мастерство, то, что он умеет бить. Так что меня же тоже можно ударить, я же тоже человек. И то, что может Джастин Gaethje меня ударить, я это тоже знаю, потому что в клетку он для этого и заходит, чтобы он меня ударил. Так что посмотрим, к чему мы придем. Но Gaethje точно не меняет особо стойки, и в основном он работает в правше. Так что будем бдительными, чтобы больше не пропускать таких ударов.
Хабиб, большое спасибо за интересные ответы.
Спасибо, Илья. Спасибо.
Thank you so much, Khabib. That is the end of our time with you, sir. We really appreciate it and have a good day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Last up, we will be joined by Michael Chandler at the top of the hour in about 18 minutes. We appreciate you sticking around for that. We also appreciate your understanding for us not be able to get to everybody in these questions. We have limited time. Please, if you do have time to ask the athletes questions, be considerate so everyone can get in questions as much as possible. Thank you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we do, Michael.
Okay, perfect. Do I need to start my video or anything?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Hit this guy maybe. Start my video. Okay. Nailed it.
We now welcome UFC lightweight Michael Chandler. Michael, thank you for the time today, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press.
Yeah. Hold on just a minute.
Hello, this is Gonzalez. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi. So, Michael, I know this is where you want to be, but I was curious if, as a competitor, does it bother you that you didn't get to run it back with Pitbull before coming over?
Not at all. You know, this sport affords you a lot of different circumstances, a lot of different events, a lot of different ups and downs. I mean, it's part of the fight business. You know, for me, I'm not about avenging losses. For me, I'm about the constant and never-ending pursuit of the best version of myself, and I can do that in the UFC. I'm excited to go out there and compete against the next UFC lightweight that I get the opportunity to compete against.
Out of curiosity, how much of that peace of mind comes from the fact that you never did close out number 3 with Eddie Alvarez?
I'm not really worried about that either. You know, this is, once again, it's circumstances, and it's, for me, it's, you know, the trilogy fight with Eddie would have been awesome. But this is an even better opportunity. Fighting in the UFC is where I've always wanted to be. I feel like I'm at home. I feel like I'm the best I've ever been, and I can't wait to go out there and prove that. Either I am who I say I am, or I'm not. Either way, we get to figure that out very soon. Got a lot of wins, got a few losses. I'm not worried about any of those shortcomings or losses of my past. I'm only looking toward the future and the exciting opportunities I have in front of me and the ultimate proving grounds, the UFC.
Can you describe what it's like training for both guys potentially? Is it one day you focus on one, the next on another, or how do you split it?
I focused the majority of my training time focused on me. What can I do to get better as an athlete, as a competitor, and as a fighter? Obviously, I'm training to compete against two very different styles. Khabib is more of a grappling style. Gaethje is more of a striking style. So if I can just become the best well-rounded mixed martial artist, both coupling and mixing together the ground game with the striking game, I'm going to put myself in the best possible scenario to be successful against either opponent. So getting to this fight healthy, happy, and ready to make weight and step inside that cage against either guy is the goal. Spirits are extremely high. Couldn't be happier. I'm excited to go out there and compete, whether I get to compete or I don't.
If you don't get to fight for the belt on the 24th, who ideally would you want to be your first fight?
You know, that's up to the powers that be. That's up to the brass and UFC. Obviously, the UFC lightweight division is stacked from top to bottom. The top 5 is an absolute murderer's row. Obviously, having my name thrown into the hat as the backup for the main event against the number 1, number 2 guy is something I do not take lightly. I've been training my tail off accordingly, and I don't have a specific opponent in mind. Somebody inside that top 5. I've said it from the very beginning. I want to come into the UFC. I want to get thrown into the top 5. Either I am who I say I am, or I'm not, and we'll find out pretty quickly. So I want somebody in the top 5. Anybody in the top 5.
Hey, thank you, Michael. Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll take the next set of questions from Nolan King with MMA Junkie.
Hey, Michael, I appreciate the time today, man. When we spoke before your last fight, you were talking about free agency. And you were saying you weren't really sure what to expect. So going through that process, can you just talk me through what it was like and why ultimately you chose the UFC?
I think it's no secret. I mean, ultimately, I wanted to be in the UFC. Ultimately, I wanted to fight in the UFC octagon. I wanted to go out there and compete against the best guys in the entire world. Now I get that opportunity. If you would have asked me, 6 weeks ago, if I was going to sign with the UFC, I would have said, I don't know. I'd say I know what my heart said. My heart said I wanted to be here. My heart said I wanted to be on these calls. My heart said I wanted to be going to Fight Island. My heart said I wanted to go and get the opportunity to become the number 1 lightweight undisputed fighter in the entire world. But there's also business decisions that need to be made. There's also numerous organizations vying for an opportunity to have me on their roster as well. And that's kind of what happened. You know, we spoke to numerous organizations, but ultimately when I went to Vegas and I had the conversations with the UFC, the phone calls, the face-to-face meetings, I felt like everything lined up perfectly for the perfect storm of all the last 11 years, the culmination of all the patience and all the persistence, a lot of ups, a few downs, a lot of pain, leading to this moment to get the right deal at the right time with the right organization. And here we are. And I couldn't be happier to be fighting in the UFC very soon in an octagon near you.
I think a lot of people were expecting you to get a big fight in your debut, but what do you think it says about the organization's faith in you that, you know, your first potential opportunity here is fighting in a title fight? I know you're the backup. So were you kind of surprised by that at all? That was the, you know, that they were throwing you right to the top, or was that just say what they think about you?
No, because I think this is, this industry is, this industry warrants competitors who want to be thrown into the fire. This industry needs competitors who want to be thrown into the mix. I didn't need to come in and get a tune-up fight. I think Dana and the powers that be understand who I am. They followed my career for the last 11 years. They know when I step inside the cage, I'm going to come forward, I'm going to bite down on my mouthpiece, and I'm going to go out there and compete extremely hard in an entertaining fashion. So that was also my request as well. I didn't want to come in and get a top 15, top 10 guy. I wanted a top 5 guy right away. I want to be thrown into the mix. And I didn't need to come in and earn the right to be inside that top 5. I wanted to be inside the top 5, and we'll find out pretty quick. Either I am who I say I am or I'm not. But I'm not surprised by it. This kind of does work out perfectly. You got a guy in Khabib who has pulled out of numerous fights. Justin Gaethje, I don't think has pulled out of too many fights, but we're living in the COVID-19 era of mixed martial arts where we're taking upwards of 5, 6, 7 tests on leading up to the fight. So the chances of people testing positive, you know, before we just had to worry about weight cuts. We had to worry about injuries. We had to worry about, weight cuts and injuries, but now we have to worry about COVID-19 as well. So it's smart to have a backup. I have, number 1, never pulled out of a fight. Number 2, never said no to a fight. Number 3, never missed weight. So I'm the perfect guy at the right time to get this opportunity to show up to Fight Island, to be the backup, and have my name thrown right into the mix. And I think it does say a lot about the UFC's view and vision of me and for me moving forward.
Last one for me. We've seen backup fighters in the past. You're perhaps the most high-profile backup that we've seen. So when you prepare, you're obviously preparing like you're fighting on that date. Is that difficult at all, knowing that, you know, Khabib and Gaethje, they have one guy to prepare for, so to speak, but you're kind of preparing for 2?
It's true, but really, truthfully, if bad luck does befall the UFC and all of a sudden Michael Chandler has to step up and fight one of those guys, turns out I'm in the better situation because I've been training to fight either one of those guys, and neither of them have been training to fight me. But that's neither here nor there. The focus is 90% focus on myself. Where can I get better in all areas of mixed martial arts? Obviously, work on a ton of ground game for that Khabib opportunity and option. Focus on and clean up my striking, offense and defense for that possible Gaethje matchup. I think I match up extremely well with both of them. From a mixed martial arts mixing of all the different styles. I think I'm kind of the guy in between. I'm kind of the perfect middleman between your ground game fighter in Khabib and your striking fighter in Justin Gaethje, who isn't afraid to go out there, sling leather, and get into a war. I'm the perfect mixture of both of those guys, which in turn makes me a great matchup for either of those guys. So if I just focus on being me, focus on getting in great shape, showing up happy, healthy, and hard to kill. If I show up October 24th with a fight, I think I'm going to do extremely well against either of those guys and cement myself immediately into that top lightweight in the world picture.
Appreciate the time, Mike. Thanks.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Dennis Geico with RT.
Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Obviously, you don't know if you are going to fight at UFC 254 and which fighter would you face. But which fighter would you rather test yourself against, Khabib or Justin?
It's always been the number one guy, you know, and this has always been the question that gets asked to me all the time. Who's your dream matchup? My dream matchup is whoever the number one guy is in the world. And I sat down with the UFC, and I sat across the table from Hunter Campbell, and I looked at him and I said, listen, I have not been training to fight the guy that I signed on the dotted line for the last 11 years. I've always been training for your champion, for the number one guy in the world. Back in the day, it was Benson Henderson and Frankie Edgar. And then all the way through the Rafael Dos Anjoses and the Anthony Pettis's, and then into the Eddie era, and then the Conor era, and then now the Khabib era. I've been training to fight those guys since day one. So for me, it's always been, who's the number one lightweight in the world? The number one lightweight in the world is Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's looked as close to as unbeatable as any fighter ever has in the history of the sport. So that's the guy I want to test myself against. That's the guy who it excites me to stand in front of. That's the guy who it excites me to stand across the cage from. So he's the number one guy. I want that number one spot. Either way, it's hard to talk about this scenario without realizing that this is bad luck happening for the UFC and this main event falling off and then me stepping in. But if I had it my way, if a fighter does pull out, I would like for it to be Gaethje, so I can fight Khabib, be the number one lightweight in the world, the night of October 24th.
Do you remember the day when Khabib won the championship belt against Gaethje on April 7, 2018? Where were you back then, and were you watching this fight live?
I was watching the fight live. I've always been interested in Khabib Nurmagomedov as an athlete. From day one, when he first stepped into that UFC octagon, I knew he was a special talent. I knew he was a special competitor. I knew he would be eventually be the champion, be the number one lightweight in the world. He's always been a guy I've had my eye on. He's a guy who I've at times emulated and tried to pull things from his style. He's also a guy that I've trained for the last, 3, 4, 5, 6 years to make sure, okay, I need to have my game in a place where I can beat that guy. And now I possibly get that opportunity. I think I was at home. I was having a party. I was having people over for the fights, and we were watching it. And I remember being in the room with numerous family members and friends, and all of us saying, okay, that's our guy. And he's probably going to be holding that belt for a very long time. Possibly whenever I step foot into the UFC octagon for the first time, I bet he's probably still holding the title. Here we are, fast forward 2-3 years later, and that is the case. So now I get that opportunity on October 24th, possibly, if not October 24th, sometime in 2021.
So did you think back then, how would you do in this fight against Khabib when you were watching him fighting Gaethje? Yes, because I've always, as I said, admired his style. He has a very ground game dominant style. He lets it be known exactly what his style is going to be. He's going to come forward. He's going to put pressure up on you. He's going to push you up against the cage. He's going to pick you up. He's going to put you down, and he's going to hold you there for 25 minutes if you let him, or until he gets the finish. So that's a part of my game that I've always said, I think I have the right recipe to beat a Khabib. Now, Khabib Nurmagomedov is the best lightweight in the world. As the records stand, as the rankings stand, he is the number one lightweight in the world. But I believe I have the recipe to beat Khabib Nurmagomedov. I believe I am the dark horse of the division. I immediately went from outsider to insider to dark horse to champion in the next 12 months, and that's what I'm going to do. And whether I have to beat Khabib or I beat Gaethje or I beat someone else, I will be UFC lightweight champion in the next year. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Ezekiel Berganzi with Somos MMA.
Hey, hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So, like you said, you jumped from the outside and you just get into the mix of the top 5 contenders in the lightweight division. So, do you feel pressure about that? And do you feel like this is similar to the Ben Askren situation when he just got signed to the UFC and he got in the mix, in the top 5 mix?
No. So number one, I don't feel any pressure whatsoever. This is the biggest opportunity with the least amount of pressure. Pressure is stepping in the cage against a guy that you're supposed to beat. Nobody says I'm supposed to beat Khabib. Nobody says I'm supposed to beat Gaethje. Nobody says I'm supposed to beat anybody in the top 5. I say that. My family says that. My training partners say that. My coaches say that. So there's a very small group of people out there that truly believe that I'm, the number one lightweight in the world. But they also didn't think I was going to beat Eddie Alvarez back in 2011 when I was 8-0, only 16 months into the sport. I love being the underdog. I love being counted out, and I love having the deck stacked against me. That's what we live for. It's these types of opportunities and moments that we live for. So when you talk about pressure, no, I think there's zero pressure. There's just excitement. There's a newfound joy and a newfound tenacity and a newfound purpose for myself and all my life that I get to go and compete against the best guys in the world. I've been saying I'm the number one lightweight in the world for 10, 11 years. I've had a lot of ups. I've lost some fights I shouldn't have lost. I've proven the doubters correct that I wasn't the best lightweight in the world numerous times. But now here I am as I sit here today and speak to you and speak to the media. I believe I'm the best lightweight in the world. I'm the best shape mentally, physically, and spiritually that I ever have been. And when you speak about Ben Askren, who's a good friend of mine, he got thrown into the mix right away, and he wanted that. That's what we do. The best competitors in the entire world, the men and women that we look up to in sports, are the people that want to be thrown into the fire again and again and again. We are galvanized by the fire. We are galvanized by these high pressure situations. That's what I want. I don't want to come in tiptoe. As I said before, you've heard me say it before, pull your hat down tight. I only know one speed. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. And if we're here for a good time, let's throw me right into the mix. Either I am who I say I am or I'm not. Give me a top 5 guy right away. Give me number 1, number 2, October 24th. We'll see. Do I sink or swim?
There were a lot of comments from fighters like Charles DuBronx or Dan Hooker, and he said that he would love to welcome you to send you back to the B leagues, to the second leagues. Do you think that there is a lot of underestimate from the UFC fighters to the Bellator fighters that bothers you, that maybe people look Bellator fighters and say, oh, he will not make it to the UFC, or he will not have the capacity to beat a top 15? Do you think that bothers you? What do you think about that?
I think the good thing is people are talking. Let's be honest. The press is good. Whether guys are saying I'm a B league fighter, they're saying I'm a no name, they're saying I'm a minor league fighter. That's fine. That is their opinion. They're entitled to it. There's a very large contingency of people out there who think I am in the top of the division, of the lightweight division in the world rankings, in the standings. There's a lot of people out there who believe that. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. The good thing is we don't have to talk about it. We don't even have to think about it. There will come a time where I strap on those UFC gloves after I get my hands wrapped and I step inside the UFC octagon against a top 5 guy, and I'm going to sink or swim, and I'm going to get the opportunity. Dan Hooker, phenomenal competitor. Charles Oliveira, phenomenal competitor. Possibly fights with those guys down the road. I don't know what fights will happen. As I said, I'm not a matchmaker. I'm the fighter. I show up. I'm a great employee first. I show up. I say yes. I sign on the dotted line. I make weight. I go out there. I bite down on the mouthpiece, and I get into a physical altercation, hand-to-hand combat. If it's with one of those guys, we'll see. As I said, I need a top 5 guy right away. There's a lot of speculation right now with Conor, Poirier, Ferguson. Ferguson doesn't look like he has an opponent. Nobody's talking about him, so that could be a possibility. Obviously, I'm just focused on October 24th. It looks like nobody else is going to be stepping in there. I am the backup. So I'll be out there on Fight Island, fine-tuning sharpening my skills, sharpening my UFC Fight Week skills. This is a great opportunity for me to go to Fight Island, get a dry run, get a dress rehearsal of what a UFC Fight Week looks like, and I get to do that here in a couple weeks, and I'm tickled pink about it.
You just mentioned Dustin Poirier. It is true that the UFC offered you that fight, but he refused to be loyal to Tony Ferguson?
For me, and I said this since day one, I wanted to come in, I signed on the dotted lines, let the UFC do what they do. I will say the fight wasn't necessarily offered to me, but let's be honest, we talk about matchups. Hey, are you down to fight this guy, this date, here or there? I said yes to everything. As long as he was in the top 5 and as long as it was pretty darn soon, I was ready to step inside the cage. So obviously he was a guy who was in the top 5, and he was a guy who was looking to fight on Fight Island. The October 24th date made sense. But no, it wasn't. The fight wasn't offered to me. There was no bout agreements. There was no contracts. I said I would be willing to fight him, Tony Ferguson, Conor, anybody in the top 5. So here we are. I'm the backup on October 24th, and possibly your new lightweight champion October 24th. So we'll find out.
And my last question is, do you find any difference between the UFC and Bellator? Well, in management in this case, because you didn't have your first fight in UFC yet, but you have you noticed any difference between them? Can you tell us about that?
So far, as you said, I haven't had my first fight there. Haven't had my first fight in the octagon yet. I've had a lot of media requests. Getting opportunity to do this with a ton of interviews today is awesome. The media push, the PR behind the machine that is the greatest mixed martial arts franchise in the entire world, the UFC. And I said this since day one. I have been making a great living outside of the UFC, and Dana White has had his name on every single one of my paychecks for the last 11 years because of him building this sport, building this organization into what it is. And so far, yes, it's been nothing but phenomenal. My dealings with the UFC, with Hunter Campbell, with Dana White, dealings with everybody behind the scenes, from PR to marketing to fighter operations to travel. It's a well-oiled, well-organized, well-balanced, get after it machine. And I'm excited to be a part of it because that's how I live my life. I like speed. I like to operate with integrity. I like to do things right. I like to be exactly who I say I am and do exactly what I say I'm going to do. And thus far, my dealings with the UFC have been just that.
Thank you very much. And if you fight, good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We will take our next set of questions from Mike Bond with USA Today.
Hey, Mike, when did they tell you that officially you would not be getting another opponent on this card and it would be a backup role or bust as far as fighting?
It was pretty much right whenever you guys heard it, that exact day. I had a call with Dana. I spoke to Dana, and he talked about how today was the announcement and my life was about to change. And I said, hey, you've never signed anybody to your roster that is equally yoked with your organization as I am. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm excited to see what the future holds. I told him I've never pulled out of a fight. I've never said no to a fight. I've never missed weight. So I'm the perfect guy to stand in as the replacement bout if somebody does not step into that cage October 24th. If one of the current lightweights can't step into the cage October 24th. Life's all about moments, memories, and opportunities, and I've had a lot of great moments, a ton of great memories, and getting this opportunity at this time, I was going to say yes to it, and it was the exact same days that you guys heard it.
Gotcha. And when do you think you're finally going to be able to exhale as far as, maybe not getting that opportunity? Is it going to be when Khabib and Gaethje face off after they make weight, when you actually see them in the octagon? When do you think you're going to be able to actually let go of the idea of maybe actually being the replacement there?
That's the interesting thing and also the beauty of it. I love to live the exact opposite of a mundane, boring life. So for me, this is perfect for me. I really will not know whether or not I'm fighting until I think we're all going to make weight. I wouldn't even put it past the UFC to have me wrap my hands up and show up to the event. Who knows? I mean, these days we saw Tony Ferguson pull out of the Tony Ferguson versus Khabib fight because he tripped over a electrical cord on fight week. Anything can happen inside that octagon, and anything can happen before we step into that octagon. So my job description is the number one lightweight contender who will step into the cage for one of these guys as a replacement, whether it's replacement today or a very, very late replacement on October 24th, 7 minutes before those two guys are supposed to fight. That's my job description. I always come through with my end of the bargain. That is my end of the bargain. So fight day, maybe, until my phone rings and it says, and Dana White calls me and says, hey, you're off. These guys are going to fight. Until then, I'm focused like I'm fighting October 24th.
Yeah. Is there going to be any part of this that's going to be tough to deal with after the fact? If you don't fight, like you go through a training camp, you build it up so big in your head, and then you don't get to go have that release that you would typically have in terms of the fight. Do you think it's going to feel a little weird, if you're not stepping in there on the 24th?
I think no, I don't, because I think it's just in life we always have to make the best decision possible with the information that we have. Information that I have is I have an opportunity to be the replacement. Maybe it comes to fruition that I fight. Maybe it comes to fruition that I just show up, I make weight, none of it will be for naught. I'm getting better. I'm training with my team. I'm training with my coaches. I'm making weight again. I'm staying light. I'm staying lean. I'm in the media. I'm on SportsCenter. I'm all over the social medias. My name is being inserted into the mix very quickly as one of the top lightweights in the world. So whether I step into that cage October 24th or not, whether I just make weight and then I kick back and watch the fights in a back room somewhere or at the hotel, that's all part of the process. It's all the reality that which I need to accept. And I think embracing and enjoying the uncertainty that comes with the sport of mixed martial arts, both inside the cage and outside the cage, is something that I will look back on someday and miss. 15 years from now, when I'm a retired fighter, and I look back, even if the weight cut is horrible, and even if one of these guys pulls out, but then comes back and pulls out, and I was this close to get a title shot on my first fight in UFC, and it seems like a bad scenario, I'll look back 15 years from now and say, man, that was an awesome experience. What a great time of life. What a time to be alive for me. And what a great opportunity. So no matter what, none of this is wasted. Not one moment since I signed with the UFC has been wasted. We're building, we are onward and upward, and we are growing. And I'm moving towards becoming the best lightweight in the world, like I've said I have been for the last decade. And soon I'll get to prove it.
Great way to look at it. And I don't know if I've heard you ask this one before. What do you think of the UFC octagon compared to the circular Bellator cage? Do you think that impacts your fighting style at all in terms of footwork, the ability to cut corners, things like that?
That is actually really interesting too, because my business partner and my production company, we're down here filming some content. He just started talking about this morning, because I'm wearing the UFC gloves now in my training. We're getting some awesome footage. And then we started talking about, now you're going to be fighting in an octagon or a cage. And or in a circular cage is what I've been used to the last basically 23 fights. But I don't really see a difference. I think when you're inside that cage, well, number one, I train inside an octagon at Stanford MMA down here in Florida, in Deerfield Beach. So I'm training in an octagon. So before I was training in an octagon for a circle cage. Now I'm training in an octagon to be fighting in an octagon. So I've been prepared for it. I think at some point the shape of the cage doesn't really matter too much. It's more the symbolism. It's more symbolic of, for me, stepping into the ultimate proving grounds, which is the UFC, and I'm excited about the opportunity. I don't care if it's a square, an octagon, a circle. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to bite down on my mouthpiece and get into a hand-to-hand combat. But I am extremely happy, extremely excited that it is the UFC octagon.
Well, and last thing for me, you mentioned a bunch of times that you want a top 5 guy if this doesn't materialize. And you mentioned that potential Conor versus Poirier fight that would take 2 guys off the board. Do you think that's a fight that makes sense for the division? And I guess, is there any disappointment that those wouldn't be 2 options for you if they do fight?
Yeah, of course, I wouldn't say the word is disappointed. It makes sense. I mean, that's a good fight. There's been momentum brewing on Poirier's side. Since he lost to Conor, he's looked nothing but spectacular. Conor McGregor is the biggest draw in the history of combat sports. If that's who Conor wants to fight, he's going to fight him. If I'm who Conor wants to fight, he's going to fight me. But yeah, talking about those 2 guys, if those 2 guys are matched up, yeah, that takes out 2 guys in the top 5. Obviously, with Khabib and Gaethje lined up, Conor and Poirier, that really only leaves Tony Ferguson. So I'd love the opportunity to fight Tony Ferguson. I'd love the opportunity to fight anybody in the top 5. So we'll see what happens. Either way, if I take my competitor hat off and I put my fan hat on, Conor versus Poirier is a great fight, even though I would love to fight either of those guys.
Great. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Mike.
We'll take our next set of questions from Cote Cruz with the 4 to Win podcast.
Michael?
Hey, Cote, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Congratulations on getting into the UFC. And cheers, man.
Thank you.
Looks like some tasty water.
Let's go. Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's okay, buddy. So you come into the organization as a big name in the sport. Dan Hooker and Paul Felder already threw their names into the hat to welcome you to the octagon. You're currently the alternate to this fight in UFC 254. Please walk me through the journey that started back in 2009, back in the Ozarks, down into this instance of Fight Island. Do you believe you're crossing the UFC's door at the right time?
I am. I think this is the perfect time for the perfect opportunity, and I am in the perfect spot to be thrown into the mix. You talk about 2009. So for those that don't know, I graduated college in May of 2009. I fought my first fight in August of 2009 down at Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. Tyron Woodley was my manager, training partner, coach, corner man. We stayed at a little Marriott down at Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, got my first win. But even at that point, I still didn't know that mixed martial arts was going to be my career. If you would have asked me a year prior, or even asked me at that moment, hey, are you going to do this for the next 10, 11 years, make a great living for your family, make a great platform to try to inspire and motivate people and move people with what you do, I would have said, I don't really know if that's going to happen. Here we are, 26 fights later, 11 years later, and I feel like all of it was culminating to this moment, to this opportunity, and I couldn't be more happy. I think, and I even told Dana White this whenever we spoke, I said, hey, 2 years ago, I don't think I would have been ready. 4 years ago, I wouldn't have been ready to be the superstar, to be the man that you need me to be for this organization, to be the champion that you need me to be for this organization. But right now, in 2020, where I'm at mentally, physically, and spiritually, where my skill set is, where my confidence is, where my purpose is, this is exactly where I need to be. And I have no doubt that my feet are planted firmly on solid ground, exactly where I need to be for this moment and this opportunity. It's been a long, long ride. A lot of ups, a couple downs, a lot of pain, a ton of awesome memories that I've made. And now I still think the best is yet to come. My best days are out ahead of me, and I'm extremely excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, and a body of work that speaks tons about the kind of fighter you are.
Thank you.
In terms of the fight, of the impending fight, who do you prefer to face if your time to step up comes? Would you be more interested in the chaos that Justin provides, or would you be willing to test yourself among one of the biggest lightweights in history?
I've always said that the number one lightweight in the world is always my number one choice. When people say, who's your dream matchup, it's never a legend of the past. It's never anybody that doesn't hold the UFC lightweight belt, the number one guy in the world. So for the last number of years, it's been Khabib Nurmagomedov. That's why I have spoken on the subject on him as much as I have. So ideally, it's a fight against Khabib, but no matter what, the Chandler versus Gaethje fight has to happen somewhere down the line. He's a guy who's on record who said, I want to make my opponents see their own blood. I want to engage in car crashes with them. And there's no better dance partner than me to go get into a bunch of car crashes in front of millions of people in the UFC octagon. I respect both men as competitors. I respect both men as athletes. They right now are my number one, Khabib, and number two options for the two fights that I want, but Khabib would definitely have to be number one.
Just to connect real quick with this thing you said about not being interested in fighting guys from the past or whatever, I was thinking about if you had any kind of bucket list kind of fight, like with active fighters, whatever, is just for the love of the sheer violence and the sheer joy of watching you perform. Who would you think that would bring the best out of you?
So I think if this was, I think if this was 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and I was a young up and comer 10 years from now, and I'm a lightweight, I would say Khabib. I would say Khabib today, and I would also say Khabib for the next decade, because Khabib has shown to be just about as unbeatable as you possibly can be in the sport of mixed martial arts and at the lightweight division. He has barely looked infallible whatsoever. He is extremely dominant. He is a man who really truly lives out his passion for mixed martial arts. So to me, as a competitor, as an athlete, he's the guy that I want to face in the entire world among all of the different classes of mixed martial arts when it comes to the very beginnings in the 1990s, the 2000s, and now into 2020. Of course, there's other guys. GSP is one of the greatest of all time, who's around my weight class. I've always had a ton of respect for him. Back in the day, it was BJ Penn and Matt Hughes, but for the most part, it's Khabib and it's Conor. Khabib because he is the best athlete we've ever seen, the most dominant pound-for-pound mixed martial arts athlete we've ever seen, I believe. And then Conor McGregor because he is the biggest, most polarizing figure that we have ever seen and may very well will ever see and not just in the sport of mixed martial arts, not just in combat sports, but in sports in general.
I see. What are your main objectives now that you're able to showcase your skills and heart on the biggest platform this beautiful sport has to offer? And I mean, I know that MMA is a results kind of game, but besides the result, beyond that, what are your main objectives now that you're here?
Truly, I think now being put on the biggest platform possible to show people a physical manifestation of the fight that everyone is going through every single day, whether it be in their business, in their relationships, in the circumstances that they have that they are encountering in their life. I believe that mixed martial arts is the greatest sport on the planet Earth today because of what Dana White and the UFC did by getting it back on air ASAP as soon as possible after a worldwide pandemic, giving people somewhat of normalcy, somewhat of hope to look for, to strive to, and to have an outlet for. And for me, I want to be thrown into the mix. I want to be put in that octagon as soon as possible to paint a masterpiece of the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, the trials and the tragedies of what the sport of mixed martial arts is as a metaphor for life and as a metaphor for the fights that all of us are going through. And I truly believe that everyone is drawn to mixed martial arts, whether you love it, you hate it, or you're somewhere in between. If you're somewhat lukewarm on the topic or on the sport, you have to somewhat be drawn to it because it is in its purest form. It's the purest form of combat that we have on earth and that we have in organized sports. And I love to be on the roster of the biggest organization in the world and the ultimate proving grounds in the UFC.
Well, Michael, it was a long time coming for us fans here. We're glad to see you being able to prove yourself in the octagon. Nothing but luck. Best of luck for you if you end up fighting soon as a replacement, or if you have a debut against another top guy. To close it up, do you have any final words for your South American and Latin American fans that look forward to see you compete?
I'm just excited to go out there and put on a great show for the South American and Latin American fans. If you haven't watched me fight, quick preview. I'm going to bite down on my mouthpiece. I'm going to come forward. I'm going to keep you on the edge of your seat. I only know one speed, and I'm excited to go out there and put on a great show for you guys. So looking forward to it very soon.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And we will take our last set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hi, Michael. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Well, the first thing I want to ask you is, what was your reaction when Dana told you that you will be the replacement for the title fight?
It wasn't something that I necessarily saw coming, but I knew we were talking about that October 24th date. There was numerous guys that were available in the top 5 for that October 24th date. Whenever the stuff was happening behind the scenes with the other fighters in the top 5 who didn't want to step into the cage to be October 24th, that seemed like the best option that the UFC needed out of me. I've never once turned down a fight. I've never once said no to a fight, and I've never once missed weight. So I am the perfect guy to be the backup for October 24th, arguably the biggest card of the entire year, and arguably one of the biggest UFC lightweight title fights in the history of the company. So to get my name thrown in the mix and to be the guy that the UFC can rely on if things start to go south was a perfect storm for me, because it shows my reliability, and it shows also the UFC's vision and view for me and my career right out of the gate.
So Dana said he always loved the guys that fights anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter with who. So how's been your relationship with Dana until now?
It's been phenomenal thus far. We've had some really great conversations talking about vision, talking about future, talking about philosophy of mixed martial arts, talking about, and I told him since day one, you've never signed a guy who's going to be a better employee and who is more equally yoked with your organization, the vision you have for this company, as well as a phenomenal athlete, I am that guy for you, and I will be that guy for you day in and day out. I've never turned down a fight. I've never said no to a fight, and I'm excited to go out there and compete against the best guys in the world and go win your UFC lightweight title. And I told him that, and I told him I'm going to be champion in the next 12 months. I could be champion in the next 3 weeks, so we'll see.
So, okay, I get it. So if you don't get to fight, do you think this will be a good experience and make you grow as a fighter or as a person?
Absolutely. You know, this is an opportunity that there's a little bit, a bit of uncertainty, you know, that surrounds it. You know, I know on October 14th, we head to Vegas, we quarantine, we get our coronavirus test, we hop on a plane, we go to Fight Island, and we spend about 7 days there on Fight Island for a fight card that I may or may not be on. You know, I understand there's a lot of uncertainty. I understand that there's no guarantee that I'm going to fight. Chances are there's in all likelihood, I probably won't fight. But you have to have a fallback plan. You have to have a safety net, and there's no better, more exciting, more willing and able competitor to be your fallback plan than myself, especially as hungry as I am. I said right away, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. They know they're not signing the 22-year-old kid who's going to be here for the next decade and a half. I want to come in right away, shake things up, throw my name into the mix, and prove to everybody that I'm one of the best lightweights in the entire world, if not the best lightweight in the entire world. But for me, all of this is a brand new experience. You know, I've been doing this. Been engaged in the sport of mixed martial arts, competing in a cage, making a living in mixed martial arts for the last 11 years. But this is just the first month that I've now been signed with the UFC. So getting my footing underneath me, being reached out to by all the UFC staff, USADA staff, PR, communications, and then when we get out to Fight Island, meeting people face to face, getting to get the personal touches, the personal relationships right away, because these people are going to be my colleagues for the next foreseeable future, for the next 10, 15 fights, until I call it quits. So for me, it's a good dry run, dress rehearsal, and an exciting time in my life, whether I fight or not, October 24th.
Okay, I get it. So, I mean, you in an interview with Ariel Helwani, you said that you think your wrestling is better than Khabib. So a lot of people were talking like, oh, no, what? I don't think he's better than Khabib on his wrestling. But what you will say to that people? I mean, I saw your wrestling sessions with Kamaru, and they are like unbelievable. So what will you say to the people that haven't seen you wrestle?
Well, a lot of those people don't know what Division I NCAA wrestling is. They don't understand what folk style and freestyle wrestling is. They see what Khabib does, and his dominant manifestation of grappling and pushing guys up against the cage, and they call it wrestling. Khabib's mixed martial arts wrestling and sambo is extremely exceptional. It's exquisite. It's as close to unbeatable as we've seen of any style matchup, not just in the lightweight division, but across all divisions in the UFC. And but what I bring to the table is a perfect mixture of mixed martial arts, striking tenacity, mixing it up with wrestling, being able to pick a guy up, put him down, and being able to get up if Khabib takes you down, and being able to hold Khabib down if I take him down. That's what I believe. You know, I could be wrong. I don't think I am. I think I'm correct in my assessment of my skills, and I hope I get the opportunity to prove that in the very near future.
Okay, Michael. So if you cannot fight Justin or Khabib, you have Tony, Dustin, and Conor. If you could pick any one of those three, who would you pick to fight?
Conor's the biggest name in combat sports, in the history of combat sports. So if we have fans there, I want to be a part of a Conor fight with a ton of people in the crowd, millions and millions watching on TV, on pay-per-view. That's the fight that I would want outside of Khabib and Gaethje. But Poirier and Ferguson are by no means playing second fiddle to that. I would love any of those three matchups, any of those top five guys, Khabib, Gaethje, Conor, Poirier, or Ferguson. Those are all perfect scenarios, perfect guys for me to fight. It looks like Poirier and Conor might be setting something up in the works, getting something matched up. That leaves Tony Ferguson. I think he and I could go out there, put on a phenomenal show for the fans.
Okay, so you're talking about the Conor and Dustin. If that fight happens, who do you think will win?
I think Conor beats Poirier again. I do think. I think the Conor that we saw step into the cage against Cowboy Cerrone in his last outing. I think that we didn't get to see much of his skill set, but his poise, his focus. He looked like Conor is a constant pinball of being extremely motivated and then kind of going off the rails a little bit. But I think a focused Conor McGregor goes out there and would be able to beat Poirier again. But Poirier has looked phenomenal in his last few outings. But I would have to give the slight edge to Conor.
Okay, so would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans, Michael?
Yes, I love the people of Ecuador. I can't wait to go out there and put on a phenomenal show for you guys. Whenever I finally get to step into that octagon, be on the edge of your seat. Don't blink, because I'm bringing fireworks, and we're going to have a good time.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael, and I cannot wait to see you in the UFC out there.
Thank you, Pablo. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael. That is the end of our time with you, sir. We really appreciate it. You did a phenomenal job. Have a fantastic day, sir.
All righty. Appreciate you guys. Have a great one.
That concludes the UFC 254 Virtual Media Day. As a final reminder, UFC 254 will take place Saturday, October 24th on Abu Dhabi's Yas Island, and will stream live on pay-per-view exclusively through ESPN Plus in the US at a special broadcast time of 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. local. We would like to thank everyone for being here today and your supporting coverage. We will distribute video and audio downloads from today's events to your emails as soon as they are available. Have a great day, everyone.